Choice, your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Zoe Muro. And now, here's Zoe.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the New Thought Media Network. My name is Zoe Muro, and I am delighted and honored to be your host for Choice, your creative superpower. We're coming to you from Oakland, California, each Thursday at 12 noon Mountain Time. It's 11 a.m. Pacific Time. We are here to explore how you can wield your superpower for the greatest good and co-create a life experience that is most fulfilling. If you're coming back, it's great to see you here again. If this is your first time, welcome. I'm delighted that you tuned in. Hello, Shay. Good to see you. Okay, let me see. You know, both my ministry as a practitioner and my mission as a coach, because I am a religious science practitioner and I am also a transformational coach. So my ministry and my mission are actually the same, to help people live their lives to the fullest. Today, in episode 59, well, we'll be exploring the relationship between choice and clarity. So I want to start with this quote from Reverend Dr. David Alt. He said, "I once heard that an aha moment is not the first time you're exposed to the paradigm shift that just gave you pause and opened your mind to a new revelation. It's more like the 10,000th time. The only distinction is that in the moment of the aha, your resistance lessened enough that you could finally hear it." I like that. Now, whether or not what Reverend Dr. David Alt is saying is universally true or not mine to say, but I definitely can tell you that for this topic, the idea of clarity, that has indeed often been my experience. You know, I found that the word clarity keeps coming up in my own prayers that I've done for clients, and also in my discussion group, in my readings. So I kind of got the idea that the universe really wanted me to pay attention. So here we are. It's kind of a no-brainer in a lot of ways. I mean, whoever wishes for more confusion or for things to be more uncertain? Now, I'm not saying that everyone needs to have absolute clarity and certainty at all times. I mean, let's face it, it's just not possible for the human mind. Besides, we are here to learn. And to do so, we have to explore, we have to experience, we have to analyze and assess, et cetera, et cetera. But there is a point at which clarity becomes a tremendous benefit, and lack of clarity, a significant obstruction. Clarity can bring a greater sense of confidence, intention, and purpose. With that, understanding the relationship between clarity and choice becomes an extremely powerful tool towards living more fully. So let's start with how clarity affects one's choices. And then we'll move on to how one's choices affect clarity. When we choose to do or communicate something, it follows that being clear on our motivation or intention and the potential impact of what we do or communicate or attempt to communicate is crucial to our ability to succeed in that action or interaction. Of course, we might be confused or uncertain about something, but then if we are looking for understanding, we are looking to actually relate and communicate, then our actions or communications should address that lack of clarity. Makes more sense than glossing over it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying, I can't answer that question right now. I actually need more information. Or I'd like to confirm the following before I can decide. We'll revisit this again later. Let me address how choice is going to affect clarity. But the point here is that as important as clarity is, it's not always there. It is our invitation to reduce the disruption, to clear away the confusion, and to hone in on that clarity. When we set a goal for ourselves, we clearly believe that there is something of value to be gained by achieving that goal. My practice as a transformational coach centers on helping people enrich their lives by learning to set and achieve goals. But the big question that they face is often, what exactly is it that they want to achieve? And of equal, if not greater importance, why do they want to achieve that particular goal? The clarity of why is a game changer. It's also a great name for a band. Let's hear it for clarity of why. Okay, I'll stop. What can I say? Hey, you have to have fun, folks. You definitely have to have fun. Sometimes to get to that why, it's simply a matter of defining a goal and adding the phrase so that to understand its real value. Right? Other times, it's preferable to start with a vision of one's desired state, and then to ensure that the goals support that. My personal preference, to start with the vision and establish supporting goals. But different people respond to different approaches, and it's important to meet people where they are. So regardless of the process we choose, the clarity of why helps us to weed out what could be invalid assumptions. If I choose A rather than B, it'll be fine because I'll be following popular opinion. Don't want to rock the boat. Or perhaps inappropriate motivations. If I choose C rather than D, I won't have to reveal my true intention. Now, how is that a good idea? Or self-deprecating, self-limiting beliefs. Oh, I'd love to do E, but I'm going to choose to do F instead because I'd probably not be very good at doing E anyway. All right. Feel free to put in any condition, any circumstance that you're dealing with into those A, B's, C's, and D's, folks, and see if this is something that you have been doing. Let's face it, there's only so many hours in a day. We only have so much energy. So being clear, absolutely clear on our values and our priorities enables us to expend or conserve our precious resources wisely and effectively. Suppose I should have added in addition to time and energy, focus. Right? And that'll come back later as we talk about this in more depth. Sometimes even knowing what we have, or rather that we have an opportunity to make a choice, requires clarity because we don't always see them. In past episodes, we've spoken about boundaries. Being clear about your personal values allows you to choose boundaries which are in alignment with your values. And it helps you maintain your personal integrity, all while enhancing or course correcting relationships. Whenever we make a choice, we're evaluating options. Being clear just which options truly exist is foundational to choosing well. For example, you've ever spent time researching something that you wanted to buy, and then you go and you attempt to purchase it only to find out that it's no longer being sold. Or you buy it and then find a far better deal someplace else. Probably experienced that frustration. But now let's apply that to more important decisions. How about where to live, potential relationships, what to study, where to take a vacation, where to bring people for a wonderful dinner, whatever it might be. All right. When we find something that's even more important, the benefits and the drawbacks to understanding what our options truly are becomes magnified. All right. So you can kind of put it in a continuum. I don't think which restaurant we're going to go to is quite as high as where I'm going to live. We've spoken in the past about wellness. Getting clarity around wellness, that can be very challenging. So what do we need to do here? Well, we have to acquire and assess relevant, accurate information. We have to understand the cause and effect, all right, as well. So having that accurate information, being able to understand cause and effect, are two key aspects of clarity that often elude people. Marketing hype makes this far more difficult than it needs to be. We are constantly inundated by messages that this device, this pill, this practice, this service, whatever it might be, will resolve our wellness issues. The amount of information which is literally at our fingertips these days is astounding. The amount of misinformation and worse, disinformation regarding wellness, it's staggering. I have had many, many years as a personal trainer and a performance coach. And I'll give you this one small tip for clarifying your physical wellness needs. And it's this: you need to be clear about three things: what you are currently capable of doing, what you're currently incapable of doing, and why it's important to you to close that gap. Okay. So, for example, for myself, I am currently capable of doing Nordic ski walking rather than running. I am not currently capable of running a marathon. And you know what? It's not important for me to do so. I'm currently capable of lifting heavy weights. I am not incapable of lifting the things that are important in my life, right? Therefore, no gap. I'm good, right? So you look at different aspects of your wellness, and I'm currently only talking about physical wellness here for the moment, all right? And you understand. It's kind of like doing an inventory, right? When you do an inventory, you're looking to see what you have, what you don't have, and then understanding what your needs are, right? Simply the fact that you don't have something doesn't mean that you're going to stock it if no one wants it. Okay. So that would be a great place to start in terms of defining an effective targeted plan for your physical wellness, being able to understand those three things. For example, except for bodybuilders who have a very, very specific and what is probably a completely inappropriate goal for most athletes and non-athletes alike. If you were to focus on muscular development rather than movement patterns, that might be aesthetically pleasing, or at least to some, but it might do nothing positive for the tasks that your body needs to perform. Furthermore, looking at wellness from a holistic perspective and being clear that the body, mind, and spirit are interconnected, and that true wellness is a composite of them all. Now, that can bring about a far more fulfilling life experience. So, there is an understanding that clarity goes without so many different aspects of our life. And there's like different levels of it, if you will. There's the very finite level, being able to be clear about the exact thing that you're working on. There's a higher level, perhaps, of the process that you're using to work on that thing. And then there's a higher level, again, as to how that fits into your priorities. And again, a higher level in terms of how those priorities fit with your values, how those values fit with your vision, right? So it's throughout our entire lives, clarity plays a role. Generally speaking, having a clear understanding of your beliefs informs what you value, which in turn can lead to a more effective prioritization. And that can enable more effective financial choices, time management, health choices, many more. Okay, so far we've been looking at how clarity affects our choices. I want to turn it around. Let's see some ways that the choices we make can enhance or detract from our clarity. How about the way our time management choices affect our clarity? Now, we've already seen how being unclear about something can affect your choices, but how about the other way around? How does this work? It sounds like kind of an odd relationship, right? But imagine that you are in reactive mode. So something comes up and you jump into it without concern for your own needs or priorities. Maybe it's always saying yes to every request of service. There's only so much time in a day. As we've said, there's only so much energy. There's only so much focus. The net result of your being in this reactive mode can easily be overwhelm, exhaustion, frustration, even anger with yourselves or with others or both. Now, how effective is your clarity under those circumstances? So, not doing the things that truly are not yours to do, doing the things that are truly yours to do, all right, becomes a very important balance point for us. As much as we may want to be of service, always bear in mind that your no opens the door for someone else to say yes. Speaking of saying no or saying yes, our choices regarding communication are directly related to clarity. Consider this scenario. You're asked to attend a lecture. All right? Great subject, but you really don't want to go. And so you're given this invitation, and your response is, "Oh, that sounds like great fun, but I can't afford that right now." Right? So what you really meant was that, thank you for the invitation, but I'd rather not. Right? So with that lack of clarity in your communication, you've created an interesting potential problem for yourself. I mean, let's say, for example, there's absolutely the possibility that the person who inviting you will turn around and say, "Hey, no problem whatsoever. I have an extra ticket at no cost." Now, what are you going to do? If you had answered honestly and directly, if you had been clear about your intentions, there might have been more discussion, most likely about why you'd rather not attend. And you know what? You'd both benefit because you've answered with integrity and you've offered up information and a perspective that the other person likely didn't even know about you or perhaps hadn't taken into account before they asked. So let's take that a step further and let's consider how this lack of clarity can affect relationships. Hmm. What is a surefire issue resulting in a terrible relationship? Lack of or poor communication. Absolutely. If you've ever dated someone who saw the relationship differently than you did, with one of you thinking it was, let's say an exclusive loving relationship, and the other one thinking, yeah, it was just kind of casual, strictly for fun. Well, where's the clarity there? If you've ever been in that situation, I don't need to enumerate all the poor choices that come from that misalignment, from that lack of communication, which then leads to conflict, which is no surprise. An enormous number of conflicts come from miscommunication due to lack of clarity. I don't know how many movies and TV shows I've seen where this becomes a major plot point. And frankly, it drives me nuts. It's like a person sees their paramour kissing someone else, and they're like, oh, everything's going to hell in a handbasket. And only to find out, 30 minutes later that was their brother or their sister or cousin or whatever. Really irritating. But the reality of it is they're playing on something that happens all the time. Another whole slew of issues can come from choosing to avoid conflict by deliberately being vague or misleading. There is absolutely no benefit to you. There's no benefit to the other party for you to be vague or misleading. I understand that urge, that desire to be gentle, for example. I understand the urge or even the necessity to be private about things. But there's a difference between telling somebody, I can tell you this much. This is what I'm comfortable sharing with you, as opposed to making something up that really does not help. I have to think that when we choose to live a fulfilling life, our success is strongly influenced by our ability to be authentic, to be in integrity, to be truly, truly oneself. And each of these rests on a foundation of clarity. No surprise that affirmative prayer, also known as spiritual mind treatment, begins with recognition, a restating of what we know, establishing clarity from the very beginning so that we can be clear about what it is we are in agreement with and how that manifests in our life. I like this quote from Sarah K. Ramsey's book, Problem Solved: Simple Habits for Complex Decisions. Let me bring this up here. She says, you can't hit a bullseye if you don't know where the goal is. You can't solve a problem if you don't know what problem you are trying to solve. Yep. Sounds reasonable, doesn't it? But I'm going to give the final word today to author, filmmaker, and pastor Erwin McManus. And this has become kind of like a mantra for me. There are few things more powerful than a life lived with passionate clarity. There are few things more powerful than a life lived with passionate clarity. Well, that'll do it for today, folks. If you'd like to explore choice and clarity further, or if you'd like to suggest a topic relating to choice for a future episode, by all means, please do send me an email here at zodemuro@gmail.com. I would be more than happy to hear from you. And I'm also available not only for understanding how you felt about the episode or things about the episode that jogged something within you, but I'm also available for general discussion, for coaching, and for prayer. All right. So, we should also know that I always hold whatever you share with me in complete confidence, always. So, I want you to be aware of the many, many things that we have going on here at the New Thought Media Network. I'll give you an idea of what a typical Thursday looks like, just some of the things that happen on a Thursday. For example, at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, Finding the Joy in the Journey is presented by the very delightful Reverend Gina Calvario-Krupka. 2 p.m. Mountain Time, Practitioner Ken Ludwig presents the Vibrant Living Hour. 4 p.m. Mountain Time, Reverend Brock presents his Spiritual Toolkit. And I want you to know that our mission here on the New Thought Media Network is to bring the joy of new thought to the widest audience possible. To present all of this, we need your support. So please, help spread the word about the New Thought Media Network. Let all your friends and family know about this. Put it on your own Facebook stream. All right. If you can, go to ntmedia.org/donate. That would help us tremendously to make this a world that works for everyone. If you missed the episode, no worries. Every episode that we have has been recorded and is available on YouTube or on the New Thought Media Network itself on ntmedia.org. All right. If you go to YouTube, all you have to do is just put in choice, your creative superpower, and things will pop up for you. You can also send me an email, and I will send you a link to a playlist where everything is found. Should probably put that into the chat one of these days. I'll get there. Why are New Thought people old? Oh, that cracks me up. Not all New Thought people are old. There are quite a few people who joined New Thought as children and have had the most wonderful opportunity to grow in this philosophy. The fact of the matter is that most churchgoers, regardless of religion or spiritual perspective, have been skewing older. Younger people are attending less. All right. So it's important for us, all of us who have this spiritual connection, who can recognize and feel just how much we get from our spiritual life. It's important that we spread that word. It's important that we let people understand and know that what we are doing here is we are helping people live a more fulfilling life, the most fulfilling life. All right. So until we meet again, folks, I wish you the most magnificent day. Oh, let me see. Wait a minute. Before I do that, I have to do this. Get rid of that. There we go. And get rid of that. All right. So have a most magnificent day. And by all means, choose wisely. Namaste.
Choice, your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Muro.